Hi, my name is Eduardo. Script words.
Say.
All right.
Say.
Here you go. Take two. My name is Eduardo Seda. I am 42 years old and I served in the United States Navy on board the USS Kitty Hawk.
Where were you born?
I was born in Rio Piedras, Puerto Rico.
Who did you live with?
I lived with my mom, I lived with my grandfather for the majority of my youth in Puerto Rico.
What were your living conditions like?
Living conditions were good. We lived in my grandfather's house for the majority of the time we were there, and we had plenty of space. We had a nice backyard, so it was nice. My neighborhood was really nice. There was always lots of kids to play with. We had a great backyard in my grandfather's house. He had a little ranch back there with lots of chickens, banana plants. You know, the school was very close by, so we walked to schools around a block and a half away. The house that we grew up in, very nice house, plenty of space for us all to grow up with. For my grandfather, he spent a lot of time with us there, and it had plenty of land for us to play in.
Describe your experience.
Living in Puerto Rico was fun. There was always a lot of friends to play with. We went to a lot of beaches, you know, met a lot of different people. The school was nice because we could go outside all the time, you know, and it was a good experience growing up in Puerto Rico. The food was amazing. Interesting story, my grandfather bought my brother a little chicken from San Juan, and 6 months later that thing grew up about this big and he started chasing bikes.
Nice. When did you come to Connecticut and what was that like?
We came to Connecticut when I was about 8 years old, and it was different. We came in the middle of fall. It snowed the week after we got here, so we didn't know what was going on. So it was different. It took a while to get used to it. Language barrier, learning English, and getting used to the cold weather, but we managed.
When did you go into the Navy?
I went into the Navy in 1992, right after high school. I was 18 years old when I joined.
Was being in the Navy a dream of yours when you were growing up?
I always liked the military growing up, and I knew I wanted to work around planes, and I ended up working on my favorite plane, which is the F-14 Tomcat.
What made you decide it was time to go?
That's tough. What made me decide it was time to go was to find other opportunities, because I saw a lot of my friends not headed the right way, and I wanted something different.
What was it like leaving home and going into this?
It was tough, especially for my mom. You know, I was the oldest of the boys, and I know I helped her a lot, so when I went, it was really tough for her. When I first got to boot camp, it was a culture shock for me, because you at 18, you pretty much, you're almost independent, and when I went to boot camp, it was like you had to follow all kinds of rules, so it was different.
What did you do while you were in the Navy? Like, what was your position? And is that what you originally wanted to go for?
My position, I was the ground crew chief plane captain on the F-14 Alpha Tomcat. I was in charge of, like, inspecting weapon systems, flight control systems, avionic systems, engines, and directing the plane while it was on the ground, telling the pilot how to turn it on, stuff like that. So originally, one of my dreams was to become a Navy pilot, and that dream didn't work out, but I ended up working on the aircraft anyways.
How long did you serve?
I served for about 2 years. I had an option to extend, but I chose not to extend.
How did the Navy make you into the man you are today?
The Navy taught me discipline, which, I mean, growing up without a father, I had discipline, but not as much as I have now. And in those 2 years I served, I grew up. You know, I became a man. I saw what the world's made out of. You know, I went to a lot of different places around this world. And so I grew up quick. I became a man in the military.
Do you think that being able to go all over the place like that at such a young age really like impacted you? Do you think that's something that's really important and that a lot of kids should experience too?
Going around the world at a young age, it really helped me to understand what other cultures are like and how easy we have it here in the U.S. compared to other cultures, say like in the Middle East, in Southwest Asia, Singapore, Hong Kong. So it really made me appreciate what we have here, and I think that was the biggest impact.
What lessons did you learn from your time in the Navy?
How to be organized. I learned how to be aware. I learned how to take care of the people that are close to me, because you had to learn teamwork. You were working with a squadron of 110 people, and you're in a ship with around 5,000 people, and everybody has to work together just to accomplish one goal. So that's one of the biggest lessons I learned, teamwork.
How did the people you met influence you?
I met a lot of interesting people that had different influences on me. Some of the older sailors in the squadron would take me under their wing and teach me the right way to do things. So that's in my life right now. I tend to take younger people and teach them how to do things, talk to them about my experiences. So I guess I'm paying it forward.
And where do you work now?
I work at the Child and Family Guidance Center in Bridgeport.
What do you do at your job?
I used to run a mentoring program for high-risk kids on the east side of Bridgeport, and now I'm doing reunifications with DCF.
How long have you been working there?
I've been working at the Child Guidance Center since 1998, so roughly 19 years.
Did you think you'd end up doing that after the Navy?
No, I didn't.
So why did you choose to do this job?
Okay. I didn't necessarily choose to do this job. I just sort of fell into it, but as the years went by, I realized and those above me realized I was good at helping to influence people, because I did grow up in Bridgeport. We grew up in the same environment that a lot of kids are in, so I was very influential. We're able to help a lot of kids out, stay out of trouble. That was my main thing, to teach them how to stay out of trouble and do well in their lives.
What are some lessons that you learned from your time at Child Guidance?
Some lessons I learned from my time at Child Guidance would be fairness. My boss, who I've worked with for my whole time there, has taught me how to be fair, have an open door policy, listen to everybody's opinion, and work together with people to find a solution to a problem. Not just take the whole workload on yourself.
How do you think your past experiences, both in life and in the Navy, equip you to do this job or better connect with the people that you work with?
My past experience in the Navy, as I stated previously, a lot of teamwork, so it helped me to really connect with people at work, with my coworkers, with my peers, and we're really able to work together to accomplish the goal.
How do you think your experiences in life, the Navy, and at Child Guidance have molded you into who you are today?
My experiences through life, everything I've been through, the Navy, working at Child Guidance, have made me a better person. It's definitely, in my opinion, made me a great father. Not to brag. I have an amazing daughter,
Aww.
It basically taught me to be the man who I am today.
If you had the chance to go back in time, what are some things you would tell the younger you?
Hindsight is a beautiful thing, so if there's one thing my current me would tell my younger me if I were to go back in time, was to well, number one, maybe have stayed in the military a little bit longer. Number two, go to school, you know, at an earlier age opposed to an older age where it's harder because when you're young, you have no responsibilities but to yourself. When you're older, you have a family to take care of, you have work responsibilities. So I would probably tell myself to finish school at an earlier age and possibly have done more time in the Navy.
What's some advice for anybody who would like to go into the Navy or into helping people?
My advice for those who want to possibly join the military or possibly join other jobs that help people is to do it. You know, research it, find out exactly what you want to do, what are the benefits, but don't be afraid to do it. You know, because if you put yourself in that box, you're never going to experience certain things. At 18 years old, I got to see the world. All because I signed up for the military. So my advice, make sure that's what you want to do and go for it.
Do you realize how many lives you've impacted by doing these works? Does things like that ever cross your mind?
It does. It does. I run into, at my current job, I run into a lot of the kids that I used to work with. And for example, I ran into one of the kids the other day at the restaurant. I ran into one of the kids I used to work with like over 12 years ago. He still remembered me, and he's doing well. He's going for a good job at Sikorsky. So that makes me feel good. So that makes me think of all the children, all the families we've been able to help. And then being in the military, everything we have in this country, it's made me more thankful for everything we have in this country. So every time I see a vet or someone else in the military, I thank them for it.
Last question.
Go ahead.
You know I love you, right?
Don't cry.
And I look up to you, right?
Yes, I know that.
And that's
it. Cool. You know, where's my paycheck? Kill
Boy.
it. Kill it.